So today we're going to be changing the oil on my classic 900. So the first thing I have to do for this car is actually drive it up onto a block, because the car has been lowered and my big fancy jack doesn't reach under there. It won't fit without the blocks. So what you're going to do is kind of jack it up from that brace that runs under the car. Like so. And we should be good. And at this point, we just need to jack it up enough for me to get the oil plug, which is right here, the oil drain, and then get the bucket under there. Okay, so now we want to drain the oil. So this is my tool of preference, and you make sure you go in the right direction before you start. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. If you haven't done this before, your drain plug may be over tightened and be very difficult to loosen, but hopefully that's not the case. These drain plugs don't need to be super tight, just tight enough to not leak oil. So this is pretty easy, because I've done this on this car many times. So now when you're doing it, there's always a washer, like a brass seal. So you want to make sure to try not to lose that into the pan, otherwise you have to fish for it. And once you see you're loose, just let it go, and then watch it drain. But we're just starting to finish up the drain. You don't have to get every single drop out. Just get a majority of it, and then just clean up the bolt. Sometimes you'll have a magnetic end on it, so you just want to clean it off, and you just put it back up. So now you just, on this car, you just give it a little bit of a little tightness, and that's it. That's all you should need, is just a hair of a tightness. And this is my actual temperature, oil temperature sensor is built into the oil plug. So that's it for changing this part of the oil. So the oil filter on this 900 is located underneath the intake manifold. It's in a tight spot compared to a lot of cars, but with the right tool, you can definitely get in there and reach it. Okay, so we put the tool on the oil filter. Make sure you go in the right direction. And slowly. Now, if you cannot get the filter off with any tool, an easy thing you can do is basically use a screwdriver and stab it through both sides of the filter, and then try to leverage it loose that way. But again, the oil filter should not be over tightened when you install it. So now, since we are going to lose a little bit of oil, I put a rag under there and then I just spin it off. You can see the oil coming down now. And you're going to want to try to catch it as it comes off. And then pull it out, and that's it. So before I put the new oil filter on here, what I like to do is just fill it up a little bit of the ways. This just helps when the car starts. It has to basically fill that oil filter up before you get oil pressure. So by just giving it a little bit of oil to start with, it kind of speeds up that whole process. Then what you want to do is take some of that oil, wet the seal, and that helps make sure it doesn't leak when you install it. So now we're going to put the oil filter back on the car. And it's a tight squeeze, and you kind of have to memorize where it goes. And then get it started. And again, the oil filter doesn't need to be super tight. It just needs to be tight enough that it doesn't leak. You know, hand tight is what they say. So what I'll do is clean it up a little bit and just and do it till it's hand tight, which means as hard as I can do it with my hand. One more, and I think that's about it. Yep, that's hand tight. So the last step now is to put fresh oil into the car. And again, you want to look up how much oil your engine needs. And in this car, it's 4 quarts. So this is where we put it in. And grab our new oil and pour it in. And again, you may want to double check your drain plug is installed before doing this. If this is your first or second time, some people leave that drain plug off, they dump the new oil in, and then it comes right back out again on the floor. So double check your drain plug before doing that.